So, a big story today and yesterday I saw this YouTube couple. I'd never heard of them until I saw this story. This woman called Micah Stauffer. Remember her name? Okay. She and her husband, they have four biological children and they adopted this baby from China. They adopted this baby in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
So they'd had this child. He was two, and when they adopted him, they knew he had developmental issues. Okay, the Chinese adoption agency thought that he had a brain tumor, like something is wrong, but he has special needs. And this, this couple's white. Just wanted to say because I feel like usually it's a white couple that wants to adopt outside their race, right?
Of course.
So she even said before this whole journey happened,
Want a pet.
right. This was in 2016. She said, I want to adopt I want to do an international adoption and not from China. I'm thinking Ethiopia, Uganda.
They
like,
always taking us.
girl, why? And she even said, I will even, something I want to help a special needs child. So she was going into even though the rest of her biological children, they're healthy, they don't have any special needs.
Mm-hmm.
But she said she wanted to help and she could take that on. So she knew going into this, y'all, this child has special needs. Okay. So they had him, well, I say had, because the story is that they gave him up. Wow. And she used the words rehomed, like you use for dogs and pets. Like, oh, it gave him back to the adoption agency. They gave him back, y'all, after 2.5 years. She said, because he was eventually diagnosed with autism. And she said, it's become too much to handle. It's a lot. And we talked to a lot of medical professionals. We gave him a lot of therapy. We tried our best. But you know what? They even said that he needs more than we can give him. First of all, I don't think the medical professionals would tell a family that, but especially a family in this spotlight. She has the means to do this. But basically, she said it was too much. And so she gave him back. She gave this child back like he was an animal.
After how long?
2.5 years. So he was 4. 4 years old, gave him back, and she said no. And this child was nonverbal, so he's autistic, and he has developmental issues. And so she had taught him to sign. So he learned some sign language, and she was trying to say, but it's what he wanted when we took him back. He was signing like he was happy. So I think he's in a better place and all that. Like, y'all,
damn.
This woman gave back the child that she adopted, and like she went into she knew that he had special needs. But it was more than she had hoped for or wanted. And y'all, and one of the worst part is that her top viewed videos on her channel was with this child. Like, she monetized those videos. She made money off of him. The video where they went over to China to adopt him was 5.5 million views, all monetized. And she even crowdfunded the adoption, y'all. Like, I don't know how much much it costs to like adopt internationally.
But how much did she get paid off the funding?
I don't know. I don't know how much she raised, but she asked her audience to give her money to help with the adoption fees and also with therapy fees. Like, she was like, this is a lot. Like, if you guys can help us, like, crowdfunded to help take care of this child. And that's how she got a lot of her audience. So she capitalized off of this poor Chinese baby. And once it didn't fit into her perfect life anymore, y'all, the last post she had
sent him back to Wuhan.
I don't know if it was Wuhan, but she sent him back. She sent him back to China. What do you think about that?
I hope she gave him a face mask.
Baby.
That's messed up. That's really messed up. Like, what? But what do you do? If her
biological child, obviously, like, he's adopted, and so it's like, oh, I feel like I can give him back. But if one of her other biological children was born with autism, you can't give him back. So it's like, how much do you try and think, oh, I just can't handle it, but I have the option, so I'm gonna give him back. I just can't handle it anymore. But the main problem is that she went into it looking for a special needs kid. Like, they had
that's my thing. Why would you go looking?
She was on these adoption boards talking about what's a special need that isn't too bad but is easy enough to deal with. Like, she was like purposely trying to look for a special needs child.
Like it's a dog.
And then she couldn't handle it and she gave him back. I thought that was so horrible. I've never dealt with a special needs child. I know it's very difficult, probably. Just to give him up like he's a troublesome animal that you just can't deal with anymore. I don't know.
What do you can you divorce a child? I mean, if you're trying. Now, it sounds like to me, I don't know, maybe she ran. Let's give her the benefit of the doubt.
Right, no, I'm sure it was very challenging.
It was very challenging. It was just over her head. She couldn't handle it.
And she had 4 other children.
She had 4 other children. And she did obviously try because he did learn something. during his time there, and you know, did she leave him better off? It seems like it.
Right.
Left him than how he came in. You know what I mean? So it's tough because it's a kid,
well,
and I get it.
Think,
but how many of the kids are going to be? I know this sounds
how
like
much more is this going to traumatize him?
Or how much more is he going to come back with great stories like, yo, I went to America before, like where a lot of those kids did it, or wherever.
And then they gave me back because they couldn't handle me.
Well, I mean,
because one, he was up for adoption anyway, and so they even said like he suffered from neglect,
right?
But just like he had attachment disorder, so he just didn't know, like he had extreme separation anxiety,
right?
Like I said, you can't. So now after 2.5 years, he's four. He's four. So now he's had these siblings, he had these parents. Now back in China, now what? He's already struggling. So now it's like, and my family is gone. And
so
like,
what do you say? Don't adopt. What is the lesson learned? I mean, do you not try to adopt?
I don't think
and
anyone
if you
should ever. Don't go into a situation looking for special needs. You should really be.
If you know you want special needs, you need to have practice.
You need to know exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
Don't just go into thing like white
Make
savior.
Sure you have the
There's a white
savior
syndrome. Like these. Like
yeah.
What is wrong with you?
Right.
No, and she like was profiting off of this. So like she made money off of this child. That's the part that really gets me. It's like.
Yeah, I mean, well, you know, it's been
wrong. But also, I think, as horrible as it is, if she ultimately did not want him, I think it's better that he's not in that household anymore. Like if
and see, that's a catch-22 as well.
Oh, it's God, but I don't think people like. Can you just give up your child? Like that's horrible. So I don't know. But
I mean, honestly, like if you found out the kid was happy though.
Right.
You went back there and you found out he was happy
and he enjoyed his time. He's back in his culture.
Like if you found out, you know, he you know,
if he was better off.
If he was better off and he's truly happy, we're just looking at it from our perspective of, yo, that's terrible. But
right. But anyone who could do this maybe shouldn't be the mom who could adopt. I hope. And so she got this baby in 2017. In 2018, she's still on these message boards talking about she still wants to adopt from Africa. She's
like, no, don't come to Africa now.
Right? Keep your 4 biological kids and just do what you do, okay? Like, oh my God.
Yeah, man.
So that was kind of sad.
Yeah, that was a little sad.